Listen, there is a version of you that finishes. Not dreams, not drafts, not immaculate plans stacked like porcelain on a high shelf. Finishes. But right now, you are haunted by a particular kind of intelligence, the kind that can see 10 moves ahead and uses that sight to never move at all. You tell yourself you are thinking it through. You call it prudence, research, optimization. Yet, when you close the laptop at night, what you feel is not calm. It is a quiet, sterile exhaustion, the fatigue of a mind that sprinted in circles and never left the room. You are not lazy, you are not weak. You are, in a painfully precise way, too smart to start. Let's name the trap. Your mind is a chess engine. Before you touch a piece, you simulate 1,000 games. Every path blooms into branches until the board becomes a forest. The brilliance that could help you win also convinces you that any move might be a mistake. You worship the perfect opening and abandon the match. Philosophers have been warning us about this for centuries. Plato wrote about people chained in a cave, mistaking shadows for reality. When you overthink, you become a cave architect, meticulously analyzing the angles of the light, debating the quality of the silhouettes, yet never walking outside. Machiavelli, far from being the caricature of cold manipulation, was blunt about action. The world belongs to those who engage with it as it is, not as it should be in a perfect treatise. And Nietzsche, he challenged the gentle, paralyzing morality of safety. Become who you are sounds romantic until you realize it requires walking into a landscape without guardrails. Bonhoeffer, observing something darker, named stupidity not as a lack of intellect, but as a moral failure to resist passive drift. Overthinking can become that passivity in formal attire, an ethical abdication disguised as diligence. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Much of what you call intelligence is a defense against uncertainty. It is a mask you learned to wear early, perhaps when the cost of being wrong felt unbearable. So, you crafted a private religion of certainty. Measure twice, cut never. The mind becomes a courtroom, and every impulse stands trial under infinite cross-examination. The verdict is always the same: postpone. Psychology offers a sharp mirror. Perfectionism is not the love of excellence. It is the fear of shame. Procrastination is not the absence of effort. It is an emotion regulation strategy. Delay the start, delay the verdict. The brain anticipates the pain of imperfection and rewards avoidance with a small hit of relief. Dopamine arrives not when you act, but when you feel safe again. Over time, you become addicted to not beginning. And then there is overfitting. In data science, a model trained too perfectly on its past examples fails in the real world. Overthinkers do this with knowledge. You fit your mind exquisitely to a private data set of hypotheticals, edge cases, objections, counterfactuals, until the first messy hour of reality shocks you into retreat. You were overprepared for an imaginary world and underprepared for the actual one. Listen closely. Execution is not the opposite of intelligence. It is the test of it. Thinking without shipping is like sketching bridges that never carry a single traveler. The world does not pay you for beams of potential energy. It moves when you convert them into motion. Consider a small scene. A person resolves to write a book. They buy 3 books on how to write a book. They design a color-coded outline, sample 12 note-taking apps, watch a masterclass on narrative arcs, then realize the timing isn't ideal. A year later, they unveil a new plan with more structure. Their mind is brilliant at building scaffolds. It simply never pours the concrete. Why do we do this? Because plans are clean. Action is stained. Plans live in a vacuum where criticism can't breathe. Action opens the window and invites weather. The moment you begin, the world touches your idea and it changes shape. This is not a flaw, it's a feature. A plan that can't survive first contact doesn't deserve you. Another twist. Overthinking isn't only fear, it's pride. The fantasy of perfect timing is a claim that you deserve an exemption from the human condition. You want to step into the river without getting wet. You want to build a fire without smoke. but everything alive leaves a residue. Machiavelli would remind you that fortune, like a river, must be managed with dikes and boldness, not essays. Nietzsche would ask whether your delicacy is just a refined form of cowardice. Bonhoeffer would challenge whether your neutrality is complicity. Are you waiting for the moral comfort of certainty while the necessary work goes undone? Let me ask you a question that may sting. When was the last time you changed your mind because of new evidence, and then acted differently the same day? Not thought about acting, acted. If that gap between knowing and doing is wide, your problem isn't information, it's permission. You have not granted yourself the right to be a beginner. Here is the paradox. Starting feels risky, but not starting accumulates a stealth cost. You pay in self-trust. Every delay is a small vote of no confidence in your future self. Eventually, your mind learns a tragic story about you. We don't do things. That story is heavier than failure. There is a way out, and it does not require you to become less intelligent. It requires you to redirect the intelligence from argument to architecture, from debating the river to building a bridge across it. Begin with constraints. Intelligence without boundaries dissolves into vapor. Plato's cave has an exit only because there is a wall to push against. Adopt the one-brick rule. What is the smallest measurable unit of completion you can deliver today that exists in the real world? Not a plan about the thing. One paragraph published, one prototype pushed, one phone call made. If it would be embarrassing to show, good. Embarrassment is evidence of contact with reality. Next, make a pact with imperfection, not as a slogan, but as a contract. I will finish a first pass that is worse than I want, but better than not existing. The world is built on second drafts. Machiavelli warned that those who imagine republics without defects imagine without people. If your standard is flawless, your work must live where people don't. Do you want to be excellent in a vacuum or useful in the world? Then, shrink the thinking horizon. Overthinkers suffer from temporal vertigo, standing at the start and looking at the entire staircase until the height makes them dizzy. Refuse to zoom out. Your job is not to complete the staircase. Your job is to place the next step with care. The mind screams this is too small to matter. Reality whispers nothing else does. Introduce a deadline that bites. Intelligence negotiates. Time does not. Choose a non-negotiable window, 20 minutes of undistracted action, and protect it like a ritual. Sequester the verdict. You are banned from evaluating the quality until the window ends. This is not indulgence, it is discipline. You are separating creation from judgment so each can do its work. Invite friction. Overthinkers curate perfect conditions, the right tea, the quiet room, the magical pen. That's not preparation, that's theater. Great work is not allergic to noise. Practice in public. Publish small and often. Plato taught through dialogue, not monologue. Let your audience be the cave you climb out of, measure by measure. Finally, reframe courage. You think bravery feels like a roar. Often it feels like a shrug. The courage to ship is not cinematic. It is ordinary defiance against your brain's skillful stories. Nietzsche's will to power is not permission to dominate others. It is the discipline to govern yourself. Power over the impulse to endlessly prepare. Power to choose contact over control. A story. Two architects are asked to build a bridge before the river floods. The first drafts a flawless plan. The curvature, the materials, the aesthetic harmony with the valley. It is breathtaking, but unfinished. The second drags timber into the water, lashes it together, tests, revises, anchors, adds stone. The first architect composes an essay about the dangers of haste. The second escorts the villagers across before the storm. Which architect do you want to be? Which one will your future children thank? There is another, darker reason to begin. Overthinking keeps you pure. Non-action preserves an ideal self who could have done great things, if only. That imaginary self is intoxicating. But Bonhoeffer would say the world does not need your untested virtue. It needs your responsible risk. The shield of if only is not moral humility. It is vanity in disguise. So let's return to you tonight with the laptop's glow on your face. The dopamine of a new tutorial calls your name. You could gather 3 more frameworks, refine your calendar, alphabetize your notes, or you could open the file that scares you and type the paragraph that will be bad before it gets good. You could schedule the call, push the messy commit, click publish on something that might collect dust or might change a life, maybe yours. Expect the sabotage. Your brain will throw perfected objections like darts. What if it fails? What will people think? What if this isn't the best approach? Ask a quieter question. What does the world get if I never act? Silence has a body count. Projects not built, skills not grown, courage not taught to anyone watching you. Do not wait to feel ready. Readiness is the mirage that keeps intelligent people dehydrated beside a river. Readiness is a sensation. Commitment is a decision. Decide, then move 1 inch. The inch is everything. Momentum sanctifies doubt. The second step is always cheaper than the first, because you already paid the tax of beginning. If you need a final push, take it from Plato, Machiavelli, Nietzsche, and Bonhoeffer together. Step out of the cave, deal with the world as it is, will yourself into authorship, and refuse the cowardice of passive intelligence. Thinking is sacred. Action is its proof. This is not about speed. It is about fidelity. Fidelity to the life you keep describing to yourself when you imagine a better year. If you overthink, let your intelligence serve a new master, reality. Give it a task worthy of its precision. Building, not just predicting. Here is the last uncomfortable truth, and the gift on the other side. If you start and fail, you will feel pain. If you never start, you become the kind of person who avoids pain by avoiding life. One path hurts now and grows later. The other feels safe now and empties you over time. Choose your suffering. Only one of them blossoms into meaning. So, begin. Not because the stars aligned, not because you found the final book, not because a stranger on the internet gave you permission, but because your future self cannot cross a bridge that does not exist. Lay 1 plank, then another. You are not too intelligent to take action. You are intelligent enough to take action that looks humble, human, and real. Think bravely, then prove it.